Hello, everybody. It's Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming here with my prediction for the ending of 6.0 Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. Let's get into it, because I got a spicy prediction for all of you. Yeah? I'm coming off the hot streak that I'm on currently with the Reaper prediction. And I'm going to ride that train, okay? Yeah? So, my prediction for the ending of Endwalker is that Zenos will have to team up with the Warrior of Light to defeat a common enemy. Why would he do this, you say? He's the bad guy, he's the villain, he wants to defeat the Warrior of Light. True, he is. I'm not denying that. What I am saying, though, is that there's a very particular nuance to his villainy. He wants to defeat us one-on-one. He teamed up with Fandaniel to destroy essentially the world because he didn't want it in the way of the fight he wanted to have with the Warrior of Light. It's a very simple and almost pure reason if you think about it. There's no ulterior motive. That's what he wants. At least that's what we think he wants right now, pending any further character development in Endwalker. Or 5.5.5. Also known as 5.55. Or 5.5 Part 2. Yeah, there's three ways you can say it. Actually, the first way was kind of just incorrect, so we're going to ignore that. But, in my opinion, Fandaniel or some other big bad that will be shown in Endwalker will get in the way of Zenos' desired fight with the Warrior of Light, so he will be forced to pair up, if you will, team up, a bit of a synergy, if you will, with the Warrior of Light to defeat this common enemy. Yeah? Kind of like a Naruto and Sasuke moment for those who have watched Naruto. Or, slight spoilers for Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance. Great game, go play it. How Sam leaves his sword for Raiden after they have their one-on-one, because since Raiden defeats him, he's convinced that Raiden was in the right of it. So, they kind of have this pseudo-team-up, if you will. Now, what I think was going to happen is that Zenos and the Warrior of Light team up to defeat the big bad. All Zenos wants is a friend, or an enemy, if you will. Someone that is strong enough to rival him. Someone enough that's able to give him a fair fight and an equal fight so that he can actually enjoy it, because that's what he enjoys. He enjoys the fight. It's why in Stormblood he did all that he did, because he wanted to put challenges in front of us to make us stronger. When we went to the first, he essentially just stalled the Empire because he didn't want anything to get in the way of our return and his eventual fight again with the Warrior of Light. All Zenos wants is that fight again, because he even explains it when we defeat him in Stormblood, that moment was when he really and truly experienced joy and happiness. He never had a friend before. He doesn't even understand the concept of friendship, because to him it's just someone that's on equal footing, someone that can give him a good fight. And why did he take down the Empire? Essentially because he thought it would get in the way of his fight with the Warrior of Light. Why is he teaming up with Fandaniel to destroy the world? Well, Fandaniel even said it as well in the patches of Shadowbringers. It's because he wants to get everything, all the players off the board, all the pieces, remove all of them, till the only two pieces that remain are Zenos and the Warrior of Light. He doesn't care about the world itself. So if anything poses a threat to that fight, to that conflict between the Warrior of Light and Zenos, I believe personally that Zenos will be more than willing to team up with his friend, as he keeps saying it, and that a lot of people are ignoring. I believe he will team up with the Warrior of Light to defeat the big bad of Endwalker. And then, after we have a final trial against the Hades equivalent in Endwalker, that big bad, that final fight, what I think is going to happen is we'll have a one-on-one solo instance, a fight against Zenos once and for all, and we'll finally have that one-on-one. That's fair. the one that Zenos wanted for so long, and we'll finally have that fight. And obviously, I think we'll win. And that's how I think Zenos will die, because I don't think just him beating the big bad of Endwalker will rectify all the bad he has done up to this point. Justice still needs to be paid, essentially. What I think will happen is he will help us. He will team up with us to defeat the big bad because it's in the way of the fight. That's the only reason. Not because he will have a change of heart. Maybe he will. We don't know the exact developments of Endwalker yet, or the character development, or the backstory necessarily of Zenos himself as the character, because there's still a lot of that still up in the air. But I can see it now. We have this big bad fight against Zodiac, or whatever the hell's in the center of Hydaelyn, or the moon. We have a big fight against that, teaming up with Zenos in a big 8-man trial. We have that fight, wrap it all up in a nice tidy bow, and then Zenos says, "And now it's time." And all the other characters leave the area, and it's just Zenos and the Warrior of Light on the moon for the final one-on-one. They'll have their fight, the Warrior of Light will win, and I feel that's how Zenos' story will wrap up. And that will defeat Zenos in such a way where he won't be able to come back again. That's what I think will happen. In my opinion, that would be a satisfying conclusion to the Zenos story, because a lot of people criticize the character of Zenos by saying he doesn't have a lot of development or nuance to his personality. I don't exactly think he needs it. I think it's perfectly fine when we've had villain after villain after villain of having sympathetic and moving motivations for doing what they do, or what they did. I'm perfectly fine with having a villain that's just a villain, or having a villain that has a singular motive, if you will. I'm fine with that personally. I've always liked Zenos. I've always liked how he played off the Warrior of Light. And especially in the scene at the menagerie at the end of Stormblood, I really liked the scene where he says, "Will you accept me?" And even if you answer yes, he doesn't believe you. I think that's more because he just doesn't believe you mean it, obviously. Even if you actually did, because it's the player that's answering the question. He sees himself in the Warrior of Light, so if something else and an outside force threatens the Warrior of Light, Zenos is going to try to exterminate it, because that's his MO, that's what he does. Literally, throughout the entirety of Shadowbringers, he thought the Empire was the biggest threat to the Warrior of Light, because he thought they would just be able to steamroll him with Black Rose. So he decommissioned Black Rose, caused a massive civil war, and essentially tore the Empire apart from its side. And the other thing that's getting me is the image they showed off at FanFest of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, and has all the good characters along with the character at the very top, who I personally think is Vanar, from Silvertail Lake that we'll see in 5.55. That's who I think that character is. But right next to the Warrior of Light is Zenos. And it's weird because unless they make Vanar a villain, or whoever that Silvertail Lake person is, a villain, there's no other villains on that entire picture. In that entire image, there's no villain. At all. Hold on, let me show you. See what I mean? It's very weird, like, from a design point, to have an image like that of, like, all the heroes and a suspected hero at the very top with Vanar. But then you just insert a character that's supposed to be a villain right next to the main hero. It's not like the left-hand side of the image is all villains. No, they're Scions. I don't think Zenos are going to become a Scion, but this is why this is one of the things that makes me believe that Zenos will have a moment where we team up. And then at the end of Endwalker, when we look back on this image, we'll go, oh, okay, and it'll make sense, like how at the end of Shadowbringers, everybody looked back to the lyrics of the Shadowbringer theme and were able to connect the dots because it all made sense. It's the start of and Endwalker is supposed to be the start of a new dawn. And you know that famous old saying, what I'm sure they're going to use, is that it's darkest before the dawn. So I think Endwalker is going to get very dark and depressing. I think we'll have a body count at the end of this expansion. And then I think it'll just open up into the new dawn, essentially. And we'll have Zenos teaming up with us to defeat the big bad. Then we'll have a one-on-one solo incident with Zenos where we'll defeat him. And that will be the end of the Zenos story. I think that's what's going to happen. I can see it now and imagine that. And you know, if that's the case, I'm going to have to level up Reaper, because just the RP there alone is going to be crisp. It's going to be great. The synergy there, that's what we're talking about. That's what I like to say. So, thank you all for tuning in for my little rambly predictions video. I appreciate your support. I appreciate the view. Make sure to leave a comment and like the video if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you want to see more content. I know I would appreciate it. Completely butchered that outro. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure for making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe if you like the video and you'll want to see more content. I know I would appreciate it. If we can stuck the landing there. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.